Hey, classmates. This is Deanna.
Hey guys, this is Brett, and welcome back to Hard Lessons, True Crime, and Paranormal, episode 42.
42.
42.
Nice.
The little baby podcast is growing up.
It is.
Wanted to say thank you to some friends in Facebook that I made through a podcast community page, just page for podcasters to help others. And to support others and give ideas and pointers. And of course, I didn't think ahead to write their names down or anything such as that. But thank y'all so much for the congratulatory and happy anniversary on our 1 year mark of hosting Hard Lessons.
Our podiversary.
Our pod-aversary. That was very cool of you guys. Thank y'all so much.
It was. Thank you.
So, Teach, how was your week?
It was chaotic. First week back to school. Still trying to get into the swing and figure things out.
Right.
So chaotically exhausting.
I know our son Sam must have been worn out. He slept till almost 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and it was 12:30 today.
Well, I'm sure his staying up playing video games had a contributing factor to that.
He wouldn't do that, Mom.
Right.
Come on now.
Right. Hence why there's cranky people going back to school.
Get your rest, kids. There's no kids listening to us. I don't know why I said that.
You don't know that?
Looking at our demographics on Spotify, 0 to 18 years of age, we have 0% listeners.
Hey, it works.
So, parents, get your kids to bed.
There you go.
All right, well.
Where's my did you know?
You ready for the more you know?
The more you know. See? It's so useless to me, I don't even know the name.
Some kind of know.
It's something.
Yes.
Something.
All right. You're an animal lover.
Yes.
A blue whale's heart weighs 400 pounds.
Yikes.
And can be heard beating up to 2 miles away.
I wouldn't even know what it sounds like. How do you know that that's what their heart does?
Dun-dun. On a good day, that's the Jaws thing.
That's funny. What kind of whale is it?
A blue whale.
A blue whale.
Them big, majestic looking.
Biggies.
Mm-hmm. They can't swim in a pool.
So how big would that actually make their heart?
400 pounds? Well, I weigh in at a brisk 328, so bigger than me.
So bigger than you.
By 72 pounds.
Whoa. That's big. The heart. No, the whale's heart. No, the heart's whale.
The heart's whale. Yes, the whale's heart is very big.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I won't remember that, but I like it.
Absolutely. You ready to get started with episode 42?
I am. You've frantically been writing notes. Class begins.
We're so good at this. I have really dug into this case. I first heard about it on a Dateline episode, and so I'm going up against Keith Morrison, and I'm sure he did this way more justice than I. But let's dig into it.
Awesome, let's go.
August 31st, 2013, Fort Collins, Colorado.
Okay.
Should have been just a normal night. Amber Smith, who is a 20-year-old Fort Collins native, for Amber Smith, a 20-year-old Fort Collins native, it should have been a normal night.
Should have been, yeah.
Amber was known for helping anybody in need. and for the special bond that she had with her 3-year-old son, Gabriel.
Oh.
She had been working hard on making a better life for her and Gabriel. She had plans to go back to college. Fort Collins is a college town. But at the moment, at this time, she was working at the local 7-Eleven convenience store.
Okay.
So, I mean, she's working. She's working. She's doing what she can.
Mm-hmm.
So on August 30th, she went out with a friend for a night of drinking. Lost some steam. She's an adult.
Right.
Left Gabriel with her parents and just went out for a night. So to let your hair down.
Yeah. Although you don't have hair to let down, but I totally know what you're meaning.
It's getting there. Wind and hair. Wind and hair. Unfortunately, Amber had a little too much to drink.
Uh-oh. Amber.
And asked her friend, I need some fresh air. Just drop me off here at this park. I'm going to sit on the bench. The friend asked her, he said, are you sure? And she said, yes, just drop me off here. I'm going to hang out here. My apartment's right up the road there. I'm going to throw up. I need fresh air. Unwillingly, the friend pulled over and let her out. Well, didn't let her out. He helped her get over to the park bench.
Yeah.
Drove off and started feeling guilty. So he turns around, comes back, and she's passed out. She's
out cold.
She's out cold. So, I know it's Colorado, but it's still August, so it's warm. It's not the middle of winter.
Right.
And so he's like, I can't move her. She's passed out. So the friend leaves. He's like, it's a safe part of town.
Nobody's.
So he leaves her. And that is when Amber said things were blurry. Here's a quote from Amber. I remember waking up on my stomach on the floor of some house, and my mouth was covered with tape. I knew I was in trouble. I started screaming through the tape as loud as I could. I remember being hit in the jaw and a rope strangling my neck.
Yikes. Holy cow.
Then Amber passed out. So in the early morning hours of August 31st, police officer Dane Stratton was dispatched to the park, Cottonwood Glen Park, on a distress call. By the time Stratton reached the park, he could hear a woman crying for help.
Okay.
Now, Officer Stratton was just 2 weeks into his law enforcement career.
Oh, he was a baby.
Hims was a baby.
Where's his FTO officer?
Well, he 2 weeks out of FTO.
Oh,
2 weeks on his own, out doing his thing, taking reports.
Hmm.
And this is how he described finding Amber.
Okay.
She was naked.
At least it was August.
Yeah. Red duct tape was covering her face and binding her hands and her feet. She had deep bruises, what later turned out to be a broken jaw. And also, after they got her to the hospital, discovered that she had a brain bleed.
Gosh.
And there was obvious signs that she had been strangled.
Not assaulted any other way.
The attacker left Amber for dead and had sexually assaulted her.
Okay. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
You jump any gun you want to. Amber was alert enough that she was able to identify herself and said that the attack happened at a nearby house, but she doesn't know which one.
Okay, how does she know it was nearby?
Because she said it didn't seem like it took long from him to carry her from there back to the park.
Oh, so she was carried, not driven. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
I may have left that part out.
You did.
Okay, I apologize.
Okay.
However, with such few little leads, the case was difficult to crack.
Well, yeah, because it's like there wasn't cameras hanging out outside everywhere back then, so
That's right.
no
Now,
witnesses.
I'm going to not attempt to say this detective's name. I watched videos and saw interviews with her and heard them say her name, and I still don't feel comfortable in saying it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to call her by her last name. Detective Seymour knew that she needed to talk with the friends that had been out drinking with Amber because basically that's the last person to see her
Yo.
since the attack. So the friend is identified as Eric Venagunas.
I like that last name.
Vanagunas. Vanagunas.
Benegunis.
Eric Vanagunas. And he was located at his church where he was the youth pastor.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Eric relayed the story to Detective Seymour that he drove, after dropping Amber off, he drove around a little bit, felt guilty, so he went back to check on Amber. Unable to wake her up, thought she'd be okay.
I don't understand why he didn't try to pick her up. Was him a little bit sloshed too?
Well, he was a little bit sloshed. I mean, she's not a big girl. Like, here is a picture of Amber. That's
Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't big.
Hmm.
But I guess when you're like totally passed out and pretty
dead weight.
Yeah.
Detective Seymour was very excited to learn that DNA had been collected not only from the duct tape, but from the sexual assault on Amber and from the strangulation around her neck. Some DNA that did not belong to Amber.
Oh, so it was probably on the rope where he touched her neck.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Thought for sure that with the amount of violence that was in this attack on Amber, this could not be a first-time offender. He's had to do this before.
Well, it would sound like it. It probably looked pretty official. I don't know. Not sloppy, in other words.
Right.
You know, like quick tape.
However,
Oh.
there was no matches in the combined DNA index system, or CODIS for short.
Oh my gosh.
So what CODIS is anybody. I think now it includes misdemeanors and felonies, but when I was in law enforcement, it was felonies only. So anybody not just charged with it, but arrested for a felony gets their DNA swabbed and put into CODIS nationwide.
Cool, they should.
So I think now I read somewhere that they include misdemeanors in that. But at this point in time, there was no match. 2 years would go by.
Yikes.
Still nothing. Amber was afraid to go places.
Well, yeah.
If a man stared at her for a little too long, like if she was in a restaurant or a grocery store, she would be thinking to herself, "Is that my attacker?" But she was ready to reclaim her life, and so she moved into a house with a group of friends. They offered her a safe place. She knew these people. They were friends of hers. They were friends of her boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean that seems practical.
Absolutely. Also, while Detective Seymour was talking with the friend Eric, he offered up his DNA, which also came back as not a match. So he's ruled out.
Well, that's good.
Yes, ma'am. One of the roommates that Amber moved in with became a close friend and confidant. She said somebody that she looked up to as a big brother. And his name is Stephen Moon, but everybody called him Sam because his middle initial was A, so his initials spelled out Sam.
Well, that's cool.
Yes, ma'am. Now, classmates, if you hear something beeping in the background, Teach has baked a wonderful cake, and so it is now ready to come out of the oven, and I'm going to be ready to eat it. So we'll see y'all next week. And no, I'm just kidding. I am ready to eat it, but we will hold off. I can restrain myself. I have willpower. That to me or the cake? Well, heck yeah, it's going to be good. Sorry for that little distraction into our lives. Um, Amber, I'm sorry. Amber would later say of Sam, he is a real person. He is supportive. Um, on my bad days, he gave the most amazing hugs, or would tell me, "I'm so sorry. You should not have to go through that. No one should have to go."
So did she know Sam before the incident or just after?
She knew of him.
Before.
Of him. They weren't friends. So about 2017, Amber and her son Gabriel move into their own apartment.
Awesome.
She's starting to reclaim her life and unfortunately is making peace with the fact that her violent attacker will never be caught. But she's making peace.
Yeah.
But never is a long time.
Yeah, it's pretty indefinite.
It is. As a matter of fact, this could have been a the more you know. This next line. In Colorado, it is a felony to sell something at the pawn shop that you have stolen.
Okay.
So even if it's like a misdemeanor theft, anything under $100,
It's still a felony. It doesn't matter.
It's a felony. If you take it and say, "Yep, this is mine," blah blah blah, and and I'm sure Colorado is like this. We had to go daily to the pawn shops in town and pick up the pawn tickets from the day before. And so we'd go through them and look, or actually, the detectives would look through them and see if there's anything that had been reported stolen, being pawned. And so I'm sure Colorado did that, and come to find out, there was a bicycle that was stolen.
Okay.
And pawned.
Okay.
So they go and they arrest the young man. Now, that being a felony, his DNA was taken.
And put into the system.
Put into the system. And after 4 years, the match was made on the assault on Amber over a stolen bicycle.
Who thought about running it though?
Who thought about running what?
Like, is it an
It's automatic. It's an automatic. Once you take their DNA and you automatically put it in CODIS to see if there's any charges anywhere else.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like, well, you could put it in there, but does it run a report automatically on its own?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Amber's joy quickly turned to confusion when Detective Seymour showed her the mugshot of Sam Moon.
I had a feeling.
I did too. Actually, Keith Morrison hit it a little bit better than I did, but I'm getting there.
Like, awfully nice. That's why I was asking, did she know this person before the incident? Or was it they became best friends afterwards?
Right. My whole world, this is a quote from him, my whole world flipped upside down. So Detective Seymour hadn't confronted Sam on this news yet. And so she told Amber, she's like, I got an idea. I want you to call him on a recorded line.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what he says.
Like, what is she going to say to him?
So Amber says, okay. And she called him and said, they ran your DNA when you got arrested for pawning that bicycle. And your DNA came back as a match for my attacker.
Yeah, like point blank.
Yeah, just come out and say it,
There you go. It's been 4 years.
And Sam said, no, Amber, I did not do that to you. And she said, then how did your DNA end up at the crime scene on my body, in my body? And Sam, being the cowardly jerk that he is, said, well, I figured you didn't remember us having sex. And so that's why I never mentioned it to you. But you and I did have sex that night when I showed up at the park after seeing an ad on Craigslist that you posted offering free sex.
Huh. That's like,
Yeah.
No. No, I don't believe that.
Well, nobody else did either.
Like, that's like, did he not realize that they could go back and look for that?
Well, his DNA was just not inside her. They pulled his DNA off of the duct tape, off of the rope, off of her neck, and other places on her body that he had touched her.
Yeah.
And Detective Seymour, as you said, subpoenaed Craigslist. And there was not an ad ever placed by Amber Smith for anything, much less sex.
On that day, that night.
Yeah, she,
that's ridiculous.
not only that day, that night, she had never placed an ad on Craigslist.
That is just a far-fetched lie. I mean, even the moment he started saying it, it was like,
are you sure? Is that the ship you want to go down on, Sam?
yeah. I don't think your ship has any lifeboats, so.
Let's see. And here is a picture of Sam. And of course, that's Amber.
Yeah.
And as usual, classmates, this will be on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram. You can find both of them at Hard Lessons TCP. Now, what were you going to say about him?
He did that on purpose.
Oh,
he was in her life for a reason.
Absolutely. Checking to make sure she didn't recognize him.
Oh, I just think it was for his pure torture. Because that's, in essence, what he did by tying her up the way he did.
Yes, ma'am.
He was enjoying getting to see, like,
what we learn on Mindhunter from the co-ed killer. Like to go back to the scene of the crime and live it over and over again. What better way than to live with your victim?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
So, of course, Sam Moon was arrested and charged with sexual assault, kidnapping, attempted murder, and various other charges.
Good.
Finally, in 2019, the case goes to trial. Everybody in the courtroom was shocked when the jury came back with an acquittal on the attempted murder charge.
How do you get an acquittal?
His lawyer did enough that they found him not guilty.
Put enough doubt in those people's brain.
Mm-hmm. I mean, his DNA's on the tape. His DNA's on the rope that was stringed. That's attempted murder right there.
I want to know, like, what the crap did this lawyer say and what idiots were on the jury.
Yeah.
I'm like, I bet you they said, nope. He let so-and-so, he could have let somebody, somebody could have came in, stole it, and used gloves and did that to her.
Now, on the kidnapping and sexual assault charges, once again, they were elated when he was found guilty on both of those.
Well, good.
And the judge, being a wise man, I would actually like to shake this guy's hand, told Sam Moon, because his attorney asked for leniency during sentencing.
No.
And the judge said, as I look at you today, Mr. Moon, as a convicted rapist and kidnapper, I see a man with no soul behind his eyes. I need to protect the women of this state. The maximum sentence I can give you is 128 years in prison, and that's what I'm sentencing you to.
Good job. Good job.
Yep.
I would have had to have been like, so you had the audacity to ask me for leniency. When for 4 years you knew and you lived with your victim.
Did you show any leniency to Amber? Where was her leniency?
Exactly. Was that the only lady that he had done this to?
That is his one and only victim.
Well, one and done, dude.
Your
Titanic sank.
Before he stole that bike and went and pawned it, never even had gotten a speeding ticket.
I'm like, why would he need a bike?
Who knows?
Like, was he lost on his part of the rent or something? Like,
maybe he had. I didn't find anything like this, so this is pure speculation. Don't quote me. Maybe he got into some drug habits and needed a fix. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can usually think of. Bikes are quick, easy to take.
Yes.
So Sam is now a resident of the Colorado Penal Institution. And Amber has gone on with her life and is actually using her experience to help others as a counselor.
Awesome.
And I know this was a short episode this week. It's been a trying week, not only for Teach and our son Sam getting back into the swing of things of going back to work and school, but also for me for having to put up with 2 extra people in the mornings when all summer it's just me in the morning.
Neener.
I know. It's tough. It's a tough cross to bear.
Yes.
But I shall bear it. But I want to end this with a quote from Amber.
Okay.
I feel more at peace now. I can feel like I finally can move on with my life. It does not define me anymore. I am no longer a victim.
I just like, what kind of narcissistic, oh my gosh.
And that is the story.
And none of the other roommates knew anything about this either?
Nobody. Nobody knew about it. That is the story of the attack on Amber Smith. That's not near as good a title as what the Dateline title.
Right, but you can't use that. Yeah.
Can't use that. I got it listed in the bibliography, and I do want to go look it up.
Yeah.
Here in a little bit. I listened to it on their podcast, so I'd like to actually watch it. But so my bibliography this week is a story on yahoo.com. Story title is Colorado Woman Moves In with Her Rapist Years After Attack. On the information I got for it being a felony to lie about something being stolen to a pawn shop, that was on a website for a lawyer up in Denver called O'MalleyLawOffice.com. I read another article on Sportskeeda.com, What Happened to Amber Smith. And then, of course, the Dateline episode, which was amazingly titled Left for Dead.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
And that is Amber Smith.
Well, I'm proud that she was able to see that she wasn't the victim anymore.
Absolutely.
And move on with her life.
Yeah. She, what is it? Turned from being a victim to a victor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's an advocate now, and she's helping them. Every one of them. And don't forget, men could be in this position too.
100%.
Like, they don't like to admit it, but they can be victims of domestic violence or random violence like this, but they can.
Yes, ma'am. So, Teach, what is my grade for this week?
I'd give you an A.
Are you giving me an A because it was a hard week? Or are you giving me an A because I earned it?
Well, I thought it was a good report.
Hey, thank you.
I mean, I am disappointed that there wasn't any more about this Sam dude, but
I didn't want to dive too deep into him. And the really, I mean, I did look into him, and there wasn't a whole lot. Just about the part I'd read about, moved into the house also.
I mean, and it's like, was he stalking her? Like, there's this whole thing of like, how much of a coincidence was that? Or was he stalking and planning? I mean, there was this whole
shooting match.
Yeah. But you did a good job.
Thank you, love.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so what am I doing next week?
Well, I don't rightly know. Out of all my big choices here. Host choice.
Ooh.
So you get to do a host choice.
As a reminder, classmates, host choice is anything I want to do. It could be a medical mystery. It could be something about weird facts about presidents. It could be how did names start? Where do paranoias come from? Blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
Any and everything is up for grabs.
Any and everything is up for grabs. It could be a cryptid. Okay. We haven't done a cryptid in forever, so.
Cool. There you go. I like it.
All right, classmates. Well, we love you and enjoy hanging out with you guys each and every week. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Seems like there's one other that I never read.
Instagram. What did you say?
Yeah. Our social medias are Instagram and Facebook. Hard Lessons TCP. Love hanging out with you guys, but we got a cake to go eat. So
Canner dinner. Class is dismissed.